So applications are a collection of objects that makes up a business solution. So when you say business solution, if you are right now we start building vendor management. So our business solution is just just creating an application for vendor management, vendor onboarding process. Uh, so uh, so yesterday we added one kind of idea like about the application is a collection of objects, but also like application contains like a set of objects that function together to meet one or several business use cases, right? And actually, application has like one more advantage. It will help us to transport Appian design objects from one environment to another environment, right? If once we develop our application in lower environment, when you say development environment, and in order to test it, in order to like test that application, we need to move that application to test environment. So application will help us to transport all the design objects created under that specific application to another environment with a single click, right? So we can say application will help us to transport Appian design object from one environment to another. Uh, so each design object in Appian has their own specific functionality. So we start looking on that, right? So yesterday we covered like a data object, right? So we categorize, Appian design object like here. We call this in here, like if you see on this design object, right? First of all, actually, I want to ask Jonathan, like, do you have access now for like Nest? Do you have access as well?
Yes, I have access now.
Okay, perfect. Nest, do you have access for Appian environment?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, okay, perfect. Yeah, just want to make sure. So yeah, start play around, right? So just click here and there. So just make sure you familiarize yourself on the application. So you know, uh, so when you say like an Appian design object, like all the design object in Appian, right here, there is an object type right there, right? Uh, this will help us, just to filter. Actually, like once you create an application, and if you want to filter, like in a constant, you can just click here and then see if there is any constant, right? It's but all these are actually Appian object, like design object, AS, connect system, constant, data store, data type, decision, document, expression rule, feed, folder, group, integration, interface, portal, process model, query rule, record type, report, robot full, robotic task, side, and translation set, and web API. Right? So mainly we're gonna focus on like the design object, Appian design object when we create this, right? All design objects we can create them like right here, right? So when you say like Appian design objects, it's actually all of them are actually listed when you click on new. Like if you want to create like a new design object, you have to click on the new, and then you'll see like all of the object from here, right? So if you want to create like a record type, so you're gonna click on the record types. So we'll open like a new record type page, so you can configure your record type. So if you want to create a process model, so we categorize them, right? So we categorize them like on the top there was like on the previous version there was like data storage CDT and record type with the orange color. So we call them like what we categorize them as in Appian is a data object, right? So it's related to data. So here, so here we the first object in Appian is actually data object. So like on this category, so we have like record types, data stores, and custom data types. So right now, like in Appian, we don't have like actually like the latest version of Appian actually don't support the data store and custom data types. Kind of like deprecating that, right? So no more using of these things because record type do better job out of it, right? So we need to without using data store and data types, so record types can do both function, right? So we can connect to a database. So data store is nothing; it's reference to data store, right? In order to connect to external database, we are, in the previous version, we have to create a data store. We have to, set the configuration, like, the connection string between, like for the external database system, right? Um, Now, like, we don't need to do that. So there is if we want to connect to a database, so there is another way to do it. Actually, we're gonna show you like when we cover some of the integration objects, like the connect system. So Appian provides some connect system to connect to external systems. So right, so even a traditional database system is an external application. So we can connect with the connect system. So I would try to show you that functionality as well. But because we can connect and using the connect system, no data store is not able is now like removed. So we are not actually seeing data store and like record type on our when we create our design object. So that is because Appian you decide, kind of like the best practice, and it suggests us to use record type instead of data store and CDT. So
I'm sorry
oriented,
to interrupt, but could you record? Are you? I don't know. I'm sure if you're recording.
yeah, I'm recording, yeah,
Okay, thank you.
yeah, no problem. Uh, So, so this like when you click like new, so you'll see on the top there is a data object, right? So data object is kind of like with the orange color. Right now we have only like record types for data object. This is categorized as like a process design process object, like in Appian design object categorized like under process object is actually like process model, process report, robotic task, and robot pool. Also, like there is a user object we call like user rule objects. It's interface kind of user objects related to like uh, a user interact with Appian, right? So whenever like you open a page on Appian, you'll see some interface or report or site and portal, right? So we call them like user objects. Also like here expression rule object, like for rule objects are actually just to do some kind of computational logic, right? So like if you wanna sum something, right? If you wanna sum numbers, if you wanna clean up some information, so you have to write some code and you have to do like some transformation. So on this one, like kind of like we're creating some kind of rule to make something like an output or something, right? So that's these are actually like an expression rule, AI skills, decision, constant, and translation sets are actually categorized as like a rule object. And integration object are actually just will this object in Appian will help us to connect Appian to external application like Salesforce, SharePoint, or any Java application or C# application using this connect system. So these three connect system integration with the API based on like three this object, we can send data like from Appian to external system, or also like we can call data from external system to Appian. Uh, and these are kind of like a knowledge or content management, like documents and like fields and folders. It's kind of like content management to store the documents or a process model or every role, anything role or something, like we can create like folder right here. And the user objects, user group objects are just like just to organize any users. Like when you are actually creating a user on Appian, we're gonna organize them like under the group. So I won't cover like in detail like about the groups and group types on the next class. Just because this is kind of it's important, like especially like when we discuss more about like security and anything, right? User group is actually if you know a user group in Appian, things are actually getting easier when you build an application. All right, so last class we start, developing the vendor applicant and vendor category. So let me grab that right here. Right, so we start our, creating our vendor applicant, right? So like for that, the first thing we need is actually a record type, right? The record centric information. We need to store our vendor applicant or like onboarding vendor applicant. We need a few tables, right? One is for the vendor applicant, just to store the vendor, the vendor name, uh, the vendor applicant table to store the name of the vendor, like it can be like a Best Buy, Staples, Valley City Furniture, anyway, anything, right? Any vendors who have like just have kind of like supplying some resource to the company. Phone number of the applicant, the vendor, email of the vendor, like when it's actually that vendor applied to be part of the just part of the company, and the category ID. So here, as we discussed like yesterday, like we can save as like category and then say like, okay, this is categorized as like electronics, educational, pharmaceutical, anything like that, right? So the category of the vendor. But we created like just to make it normalization, right? So we need to make a normalized table, right? So if you get a chance, just you can Google like what is actually normalized table means. So you'll see like so like it's to make it actually like instead of just saving all the things, all the details directly here, so we can actually store the ID for the category and the ID for status, like pending, approved or something. But like all these two information will be stored on a different table, right? So category table and then status table. So this status table will have like pending, rejected, and approved. So if you need to add like more status, we can add that as well. In the category, we yesterday like we discussed, like we were gonna add like electric supply, furniture supply, pharmaceutical supply, and educational supply as a category. So if you think of like anything, it's kind of like data, so you can add like anything, right? So we're not actually changing the structure of the table. So so let's actually finish, creating a record type for all, right? So like we created like we created already like for vendor applicants, and I believe for yeah, category, right? So yesterday we created like for applicant and for category. So we'll do the same for the vendor applicant today, like vendor applicant contact, and we do like all the relationship all together, right? And then we're gonna play around what kind of like relationship they have, like one-to-many relationship or many-to-one relationship. And I will give you like some explanation what that like what is one-to-one, one is one-to-many, and what is like many-to-one. So all right, let's get started and create our vendor applicant contact record type. So to create a new record type, you're gonna create like click on the record type and say like vendor applicant. Sorry, it should be like nomenclature is actually you have to follow the nomenclature. For example, like when you create like I will gonna show you like when we're actually creating all objects what needs to be done, right? What needs to be like in terms of like naming convention for each design object, right? For record types, it's nothing but like just use like proper wording there. So vendor applicant contact, right? So this is the contact for all the vendor applicant, right? So like for Best Buy can have like multiple applicants, a president, the CEO, like the HR or something, any contact we want to capture. So we're gonna have it right there in the vendor applicant. So it's best practice always to put some description, right? So as a good developer, as a good Appian developer, just make sure to add some description about your object, like when you create. So any developers rather than you, right? So when it comes to development, so he will understand, okay, what object is actually created for what, right? So kind of just give here as a record type for contacts, right? Kind of easy one. So I'm going to create this. All right, so when I create this, so it will ask me just to add a security, right? Uh, like you may not get this one, like, because I made like some tweak on my application, so it's not giving me, right, automatically it's giving, secured my record type, but like, we're gonna do that manually. So, but if you see it like in your side, then, just leave it like that. So let me, so I'm gonna add like with admin, it's gonna be administrator, and come on, all viewers, it's gonna be a viewer group, right? I'm gonna click save. Now so the next step is actually just tell us about your data, right? So I try to show you like how to run a script from the backend. You don't need to know any kind of like database skills, but like, okay, I wanna actually create from here, right? Tell us about your data. So do I have my table already exists, right? If my table exists already, then I just click on the database. I want to start with the existing information, with the existing data, and like my table is actually resides on the database. So I'm gonna select from here. If my table is actually on the Salesforce, I'm gonna select from here and then click next and configure from Salesforce, right? If it is a web service, we're gonna go this way. But now, like, our we don't have actually a table for contact, right? Like we're gonna start creating it, right? So but I want to actually if I want, so I can go to the database side, right? I can go to the database, I can create my application, my table here, right? I can create my table from here, right? I can write some code on the SQL, right? So create table vendor applicant, something like that, right? Right, so kind of like I can add my script here, the fields, whatever the fields we have, ID and something like that, right? But no, you don't need to know this guy. You don't need to write any kind of like SQL script. The reason why is actually like Appian will help you on that, right? Uh, sorry, all right. Come on. All right, so Appian gonna help you on that just to create like from here, right? So I can create like from scratch. I want to create, want to start from scratch here. Click next, right? Will give you like a data source. I'm gonna create it like on this data store table, like just where my data stores reside. Click on next again. So automatically Appian just will prepare some kind of like suggestion, like any table should have a primary key, right? So in Appian, at least one of the field is actually a primary key. So we need to have like an auto-generated value, right? So like it's kind of the primary key we need here as an ID. So I will rename it actually. Like I want to rename this guy to vendor applicant contact ID. Right? It's kind of it's long, but I want to keep it professional way, right? Vendor applicant contact ID is a primary key, right? We have like created by, created on, modified by, and modified. It's always recommended to have like all those fields for audit purpose, tracking a history, who updated this, who created this, right? When it's actually created or something like that, right? It will help us to capture all those information on the table. So let me grab this guy and what another fields actually needs to be coded, right? Right. So in the vendor applicant contacts, so I have vendor applicant contact ID, but also like I need to have like a vendor applicant ID, right? So because this vendor contact will be associated with the vendor applicant, right? For Best Buy, how can I tell, right? How can I tell which contact is for Best Buy, which contact is for Staples, which contact for Value Furniture, right? I can easily say, like based on this vendor applicant ID, this is the primary key here on this table on the vendor applicant. I will refer this ID here on this table as a foreign key. So this foreign key integration will help me to identify this applicant is for the Best Buy. This applicant is for like Value Furniture, right? So now I need like vendor. I already have like vendor applicant contact. I need to add a foreign key vendor applicant's ID on this table: first name, last name, gender, phone number, email, address line one, city, state, zip code, right? And then the is active field is actually always, I like to have it like on my table. It's also like helping me to for like, so if there is any soft delete, right? If I want to delete the record, if I don't want like a hard delete, like just, but I just want to make sure like okay, this is not active or something, like, so I can tweak based on that. Like I can make it like false and true, so I can easily tell, okay, this record is actually deleted from the system. So let me try to add like a new field, right? So to add a new field, so there is like a new field on the top here, so you can click on new fields anytime like you want to, right? So now like I will gonna add like vendor applicant ID. This is gonna be like a primary key for the vendor applicant record type. Actually text. I'm gonna add actually this is actually number integer, right? The type is number integer. Right, first name. Right, so always like when you create a record type, it's better to use like a camel case, right? So like start with a small letter, and whenever like you have start with a small letter, whenever you have like second case, actually it's gonna be like caps, and you have like with the uppercase, right? So we call this actually like camel case. If they say like Pascal case or something, it's gonna be like this one, right? So it start with like caps, uppercase for Pascal case, but like camel case actually start with small, right? Lowercase. Then whenever you start like a new word, start with like uppercase. All right, so I'm gonna like first name is actually text. Last name is actually text as well. So like I know like they're gonna give me this, so I wanna capture this one. Gender is gonna be text as well. Take gender of the is optional, but we can capture those information. A phone number for the contact. Let's capture it as text. It's number, but like sometimes people put some dash on their phone number, so we need to capture it as text. Email as well, right? So email is text as well. It's actually types text, and I'm gonna capture address, right? So address line one, address line one, capture address line two. It's gonna be text, city. Let me add like like 1, 2, 3 more field, right? Gonna create 1, 2, and 3, right? So I have like city, and state, right? State, it's text as well. Zip code is a number. Zip code is a number integer, and is active field. Is active field is gonna be a boolean. So boolean is nothing, is a true or false, right? So I want to make sure like, okay, this is active or not. So it's a boolean field. All right, this is all I need for my this was all I need. Okay, this is all I need for my vendor applicant. So do you think of any other field we need to capture for the vendor applicant contacts, right? If you think of any, so like let me know. So I can add it right here. We can add it like anytime, but it's better like always to add it like on when you create like our first design, right? Okay, so first name, last name, Gmail. Okay, that's good. If we need to add like any field, we can add it like anytime, right? But for now, so this is our like vendor applicant, our like structure, record type structure. So now like just we have like relationship, right? We can add a relationship like once we create this contact, like I showed you yesterday. But also like at this point, we can add also a relationship with the table, right? We know vendor applicant contact is related to vendor applicant, right? So it's related to vendor applicant based on this vendor applicant ID, right? So this both have like the vendor applicant ID. This is a primary key here, and it's a foreign key on this table, right? So I'm gonna add like here a new relationship, right? And I'm gonna add like a vendor applicant. I'm gonna search the vendor applicant record type what I created yesterday, right? So I created this one like vendor applicant record types. I'm gonna click on next, right? Now I'm gonna actually discuss more about relationship right now, okay? So here, so when we say I'm actually like I have like these two tables, okay? I have these two tables. One is actually vendor applicant table, right? So vendor applicant table is actually like we have like Best Buy, Staples, like Valley City Furniture and everything like that, right? And then we are actually right now we are actually creating a new table saying vendor applicant contact table, right? This is contact, and this is vendor applicant vendor, right? So each vendor, like for example Best Buy, can have like multiple contact, right? We can contact to the president, we can contact to the CEO, we can contact to the HR, we can contact to the sales representative people, right? So we will have like for example like we have like 4 people, right? So HR, CEO, like the president and sales person, right? So we're gonna have like 4 people right here. So these 4 peoples actually belongs to Best Buy. This one record. So this one record will be actually all these guys are actually part of one record, but it's actually these four peoples actually is actually related to this specific like vendor. So from here, right, from the vendor to contact table, so there's some relationship, right? We can say like there is like one to many relationship, right? One record can be related to many records on this table, right? So this is actually one to many relationship. But from contact, right, from contact to vendor, we will say like it's many contacts can be related to the same, can be related to the single vendor. So from here to here, it's gonna be like many to one relationship, right? From here to here, it's gonna be one to many relationship, right? It's gonna be one to many, right? And from contact to vendor, it's gonna be many to one, right? Is that clear? Like the relationship between the like one-to-one relationship, one-to-one relationship, and two. So one-to-one relationship, when you say like one-to-one relationship, if we have like for example like Staples and has like only one address, right? Only like one contact. So it's gonna be like one Staples will. So so this contact table, if we have like record only one for one representative, like for example like for only for HR contact, so it's gonna be like one to one. So one record for one company, one record for one company. So in that case, we call it like one-to-one relationship. But if you have like one for one vendor, if you have like multiple contacts, it's gonna be one-to-many relationship. From contact to vendor, it's gonna be like many-to-one relationship. So who will tell me about for this one, right? So we are actually creating a relationship. Right now, I'm actually creating like a relationship for from contact to my vendor applicant record type. So should I select one-to-many or many-to-one?
Would it be many to one since you want to have a lot, if you're going to have a lot of contacts to one like vendor?
Yeah, that's perfect. So because we will gonna have like a multiple contact here, so it's gonna be like many contacts related to one vendor, right? So yeah, we're gonna select like many-to-one, but like if you see here, automatically it's getting like from vendor applicant contact, this vendor applicant ID. This is actually pointing to like our like vendor applicant record type on the vendor applicant ID field. So both are actually the same field, right? The same name, but like this is a primary key on this table, on the vendor applicant table, and it's a primary, a foreign key on the vendor applicant contact, whatever like we created right now, right? We are creating this vendor applicant contact. We added this specific field as a foreign key to reference for referential integrity, right? We're going to reference and make our data integrated. So yes, many-to-one. So I'm going to create like add that relationship. So a relationship, even like we can add it right here, right? So when we create our table, but also like we can skip it, and then we can also like add the relationship. So I'm gonna actually I'm gonna create like a status record type, and then I'll show you like how to add it. Like even actually I showed you yesterday as well, but like I'm gonna give you like a second example for that. So here now I'm gonna click next. So if I want to, right? So there is the reason we don't need to know like a database the SQL script or something, because so we do we do give like structure in Appian record type. Like I want to create a table on the back end with this information, right? So vendor applicant contact ID, vendor applicant first name, last name, gender, phone number, or something like that, right? So automatically so Appian will help me out like for if I don't know the database script. So it will give me like okay, this is the script. So it will give you like a preview. So when you click on this guy, you can download the script, and then you can see it like from there, right? So for example, like this script looks like this, right? I'm gonna create. So if I just copy this table and then run it on the backend on the database side, I'm able to create that table as well, right? But sometimes like the database team, like when you are working on the real project, right? So the database team will ask you to send them like a script, right? So for creating their table, right? So like what you need to do is actually just configure this, just copy preview the script, copy this guy, and then send them, right? So they can execute it from there, right? So so you don't need to know, right? But through time, like now, like okay, I just created this one, but Appian generated the database script. Okay, like it looks like database script, like for creating a table, it looks like this, right? What is actually it's composed of, right? So there is only like few statement, right? It's nothing like in Appian, even in a SQL script. Just I'm kind of like giving an order for the SQL, say like please create table, right? So this is a table name I need to create, but in this table, right? So with the parentheses in this table, I need all this field, right? I need all this field. It's passing like the vendor like the fields plus like I want like the data type. So always like when we store something, like we need to identify the data type, right? Either we are actually storing an integer, a number, or either like text or a date field or something, right? So for each field, we need to specify the data types. So like first name is kind of varchar, right? Varchar. So varchar, nvarchar, car, anything, right? So when it comes to Appian, it's easy, right? So like you don't need to know like varchar, nvarchar, anything, right? It's like in Appian, if it's varchar, car, anything, right? You can make them as text. if you make a text, if you have like on the back end, on the database side, end varchar, varchar, or car, something like that, right? Varying character or something. In Appian, just make it like text that will kind of like, do the mapping. This also like a script just to add like, foreign key constraint. That's a relationship what I did, right? So like at the end, we added like a vendor applicant and added a constraint on both two tables, right? So it's referencing on this specific ID table and that specific ID vendor applicant ID field, right? So now you can generate this script, go through this, how it's actually created. So it will help you out. Like, okay, whenever I created a database from scratch from the record type, this is a script I'm actually executing on the backend, right? I don't, I didn't write this code, but Appian write this code for me and then run it on the backend. So I'm not going to create the table on the script. So, but you can copy, right? You can copy the script like this. Let me copy that, and you can go to the database, right? So you can go to the database, just click on the SQL, click here. So this is the script you have. So nothing you have to do, right? You just copy that, right? Just click here and then go, right? So automatically we're gonna create a table for you. So now, like once you created that, so you don't need to create from the record tabs. Just instead of create from scratch, now you're gonna pull it from select from the existing database and then pull the table. But now I'm gonna create it actually from I'm gonna create it from the same I'm gonna finish it from here. Okay, so I'm gonna save the change. So automatically we're gonna create it for me. Right, it's a little bit slow. Appian actually getting popular. People actually start using it. That's why kind of like we are sharing a lot of resources together. All right, so it's going. All right, so kind of like very sluggish. Okay, it's done, right? So like we can download the script here as well if you want to, right? So if you forgot on the previous SQL, right? You can also check this download database scripts and then click save, close. It will automatically like once you close this guy, Appian will automatically download the script for you. Like in case if you forgot on the previous SQL script, right? This also like you can do it like at the end step. Right, it's still like this is actually annoying, like it's very slow running. Yeah, so done, right? So it's automatically downloaded your script, so you can also save it somewhere. So if anybody asks you, so you can just copy that and then send that to them, right? The script. Also in case, right? So I'm gonna give you tips as well, right? So like while I'm going on this one, right? So in case like if you forgot on the previous SQL, and then also like you forgot checking the box, checking the box and then close it, and so you forgot about downloading the script, right? So it's always possible to get that script, right? So still you can come here and generate database script from here, right? So automatically will generate the database script for you. So there is plenty of ways, right? Like you can do it from the previous SQL. You can download it while actually closing the record type, as well as like if you once you saved as well, like you can also here generate database table database script from here. All right, so our vendor applicant contacts record type is actually ready right here. So cool, right? It's ready. We created the relationship on this guy, right? So it's going to be like one-to-one relationship. If you see like from vendor applicant contact, it's kind of like many to one, right? So if you see like kind of like a fork, right? So if it's one to many, it's going to be the other way, right? So I'm gonna go here. to the vendor applicant. All right, so while it's actually opening, like one more table we have to create, right? So that is here. One more table we have to create. So that is actually the status field, right? Status table, right? So the status ID, the name, description, creator. So it's kind of like the same category, right? So anytime, like when you create this, like I'm gonna show you, like different trick, right? Now, like just I want to make sure. Okay, this is actually done, right? Vendor applicants right here. So I want to actually make that contact vendor applicant contact here first, like before I do that. So I want to actually on the contact I created a relationship, right? While actually I'm creating my record type. Now, like I want to create that relationship, like one-to-many relationship, like from applicant to contact. So right now, like vendor applicant is actually you know in one many to one relationship with the category, but also like let me add, like that's the one like I created right now. What is that? Call it vendor applicants, contacts, right? So it's gonna be like from vendor applicant to vendor applicant contact. It's gonna be like one-to-many relationship. Right. Okay. Vendor applicant contact. Right. I'm gonna click that next here. We'll select like one-to-many relationship. Right from the next screen, we'll select like one-to-many relationships. I will select the fields like to map. Right, so one-to-many relationships. I'm gonna select the field like vendor applicant ID from here, and the vendor from the vendor applicant contact. It's gonna be vendor applicant contact ID. Right, so I'm gonna add this relationship. So automatically I will see a one-to-many relationship added from vendor applicant to vendor applicant contact record type. So that's how actually we are actually unifying our data, right? So if I want to access, right, if I want to see my information like from this record type, vendor applicant like Best Buy Staples or something, you know, you don't have to go to the vendor applicant contact to see who is actually part of the Best Buy or something. You can easily access, like because we created this kind of relationship right there, right? So I can easily, like with the dot notation, I can easily access the vendor applicant contact records like from here, right? From the vendor applicant, from vendor applicant, I can access the record related to this guy through this relationship, whatever the data on the vendor applicant contacts are in the category. So it's kind of like we are actually unifying all the data in one centric place, right? I created a vendor applicant centric place, all vendor applicants related to like related information like the category, vendor applicant contact, and the status, right? So because we're storing like status and category as an ID, right? 1, 2, 3 or something. But if I need to know like what is one stand for, right? If it's approved, rejected or something. So I can easily, just go from like from here, from vendor applicant. I'm gonna create like status relationship right here, and then I can access from there, right? So all right, let's dive into like creating like I'm gonna show you like another trick, right? So like here, if you see like status field in the category table is actually a reference table for us, right? They are actually storing some kind of like when you say like a reference table, so tables were actually going for reference value, right? So we are okay. What is one for category ID? So like I'm check like from the database side. Okay, one is stands for like electronic supply. One is for two is for furniture supply, right? So any tables like which store some reference data, we call them like reference table. So we have two reference table in here. Like one is for category table to store like this electronic supply feature or something like that, and like status table to store some of the status we're using like for when the vendor applicant actually submit their application, their status will be like actually kind of like pending. Once actually like the provider approve it or reject it, so they will have like rejected and approved. If we need like to have like more status, we can add like right here, right? So now I'm gonna show you like some other trick, right? So I show you like how to create a table, right, from a record type from scratch. I showed you like copying the script from the record type and copy that script running from the backend, and then for my record type I select from existing database and select the table right there. So now I'm gonna show you like some trick from the database, like if I don't want to go through like all this, right? So if I don't know the script as well, like if I don't know the script, I know like my table is like looks like the same as a category, right? So it's gonna be the same as category, but some with some like name difference, right? So category, I'm gonna select this guy. So I created yesterday like this category table, right? So this is the structure we have, right? Now, so there is a lot of ways actually, but just want to show you like in a simple SQL script right there. So I want to create a table just like this, right? So just like vendor category, but like I want to generate script, right? If I don't know anything, so there is a script in database we can run this show create table, right? So this, and then gonna pass only the table name, right? So we're gonna pass the table name, we're gonna run this script like show create table, and then run this guy, right? If I click on run, and it will give me the create table extra option. I'm gonna do the full text, right? So this guy gives me right there, like all the script right there, right? I'm gonna just copy this, only this, I need this guy. I can copy this script, right? I come here, right? So now like this is a script like I used for vendor category, right? So now I need it like only for vendor status. So I'm gonna change to status, right? And this field is gonna be status, right? Status, vendor status ID and the name of the status, that's fine, and description of status is active or something like that, right? So this, it's kind of like when you see like some kind of a resemblance between your data structure, you can tweak like just to make it fast, like you just run that show create table script, get the script, modify the name, right? Modify the name, like the fields like you need to do, like for example like this guy needs to be changed to status, right? Just modify like whatever, like just to align with the name, and you're gonna create it. Like I'm gonna click on go, so automatically we're gonna create it for me, right? So like if I now click on status, I have to see it. All right, right here. So my table is right here. Name, description is active, created by, or something like that, right? Now, like from here, like I already created my table on the backend on the database side. So now I will go from the Appian from my application. I'm gonna create a record type for just the same structure, like the same source from Appian, right, from the database. I'm gonna create like record type, and this case is gonna be like vendor status. Right, vendor status, that's fine, like it's kind of like a reference table, vendor status. All right, so I'm gonna create this guy. It's always like, I know like I have this issue, but I'm hoping you are not seeing this issue, like it's automatically Appian will help you to secure the object. All right, so I'm gonna add it here. For viewer, this administrator group, I'm gonna save this. So now I'm gonna create a relationship for me, right? So I'm gonna create a relationship. Sorry, like tell us about your data. Just right now I created my record type from on the database, so that means like I have the table already, right? I want to start with the existing data, like a database. Click on next. Next, we don't need to do any change here. So you can select the table from here, right? You can select from here, like it's status. You can select it from like this, right? Or you, if you, yeah, if you have some kind of like difficulty to find your table from here, just click here and then select, kind of like run the search, right? You can run the search from there as well, right? But I found it from here, so it's already there. So click on next. Uh, all right, click on next as well. All right, so it's going to be vendor status. So all the map, like for all the source field, like all the source field on the backend, vendor status ID name, right, description, whatever, modified on. Our record field name is kind of like, automatically Appian give us the camel case, right? And it's good. So if you want to add like a description about this field, so you can add, but like if you want to, but that's not required. All right, so I'm just clicking finish. So now it's my for vendor applicant, for vendor application. I need only this for record type. Not only this, but like when we go to the task management section, right? So when how to manage like task in Appian, we're gonna introduce like a couple of tables there. But for now, like for us, like just to discuss all this Appian design object, that's actually fine. So while we are actually creating design objects, we're gonna build our application as well, right? All right, so this is ready, like my vendor status is ready, but like this, I need to make some relationship between the some relationship between the vendor applicant and the status, right? So I wanna, all right, all right. So vendor applicant. So this needs to be like the status ID. What is the status ID we have? Do you have status ID? Vendor applicant. We don't have status ID here. Okay, so it looks like we miss it. Okay, looks like we missed it yesterday, right? You don't see only category ID. I see, right? So I need to add like status ID on this table, right? So for yeah, that's actually good for you guys, right? So if you miss anything, right? If you miss anything on the backend, or like the database stuff, right? Uh, we can make that change here. You can go to your database side, right? So and go to the vendor applicant. Right, this is the vendor applicant, so I want to add like we can always run a script, some kind of code, just to add a script to add a column and field, but also like it's easy to like use a GUI, right? So GUI kind of graphic user interface is good to add a new field, right? So for example, like I want to add like one column, right? Where after actually I want to actually store it like after category ID. So right now it's actually selected like after modified one, right? But I want like one column and just one added after category ID, and then click go. All right. Now what is the name of the field? Well, it's gonna be status ID. Right, status ID is gonna be integer, length is maybe 11. That's fine. Status ID is 1. All right. And nothing I need, right? So it can be null, no. Can be null, that's fine. And you can preview the SQL, like whatever I did. If you want to run the script, you can. This is the script you have. Press alter table. This table add status ID in after category ID, right? So click save. So now I have the status ID on my table, right? I have status ID on my table, but like I need to make that update on my record type as well, right? So I'm coming here, right? So like I'm gonna map record fields, right? So I would see here like the status ID is actually change. It's not, it's automatically picked, but like it's not checked because it's kind of like newly added field. I'm gonna select like a new field. I'm gonna check this guy, right? And then just finish. All right, so it's automatically added my status ID there, right? So now like I have my record type, uh, like for status, right? So that status, I will make some relationship between the two, right? With the status and vendor applicant table. All right, so do you have any question, like any confusion? Like just please let me know, like if there is anything, okay? I'm gonna add like on the vendor applicant, I'm gonna type like vendor status record type, whatever I created, right? I created this guy, vendor status. Click on next. So now, what is gonna be the relationship between, right? What is the relationship between like from status from applicant, right? From applicant to status table, right? We can have many pending applicant like vendor applicant, right? Also we can have like many approved applicant. We can have like many uh, many many approved or like many rejected applicants like based on status, right? So who's gonna tell me like what kind of relationship I should make like from vendor applicant to status? Is it one to many? Is it many to one or one to one? Any guess?
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
From vendor applicant to vendor status, what kind of relationship we have, right? So like like from vendor applicant we can have like many pending approved many sorry pending vendor applicant. We can have like many approved applicant. We can have like many approved like rejected applicant. So basically like from like vendor applicant and the status table, what kind of relationship I should make, right? So one to many relationship to many to one or one to one relationship.
One too many?
One to many. Any other question? Any other answer? Sorry. So it's gonna be one
Would it be many to one? Because it's going from, you said from,
from
you said
applicant to
from,
status,
hmm.
right? So we'll have like this applicant table, right? Best Buy, Staples, Valley Furniture, or something. Any vendors, right? Here on the status table, we have like three records: pending, rejected, and approved. So like these three is actually have like pending status. These two has approved status, and like the rest five has rejected status. So if you see from here, it's kind of like many records related to one specific record, right? Status from status. Uh, from here to here, it's gonna be one too many. From applicant to status, it's gonna be like many records will relate to one. So we can say it's kind of like many to one relationship, right? So we can say yeah, like many to one to one. It's kind of basic, but like it's kind of like actually confusing as well. So all right, I'm gonna select like many to one because from vendor applicant, many applicants, vendor applicants can have like the same status. So I'm gonna use like status ID from here. right, from the vendor applicant status ID, and it will automatically pick us like the primary key from the vendor status table. So I'm gonna add a relationship. So this is kind of like a warning message, say like we need to sync the record type, right? So because we made some change, we need on the backend, on the database side, if there is any data change, right, any new entry or any update or something, we have to make an update, like we have to make a sync update on our record type. So we'll have like, same kind of data. So that's kind of like, it's a warning, it's not either or something, right? Yeah, so now like for my vendor applicants, looks like my relationship is actually complete. So vendor applicant related to vendor applicant contact, vendor status, and vendor category, right? So that's cool. So anyone like has any question about creating like a record type data modules, right? So now we,
So I'm sorry, Dave.
yeah,
So if I mistakenly chose, for example, if it was many to one, if I mistakenly chose one to many, what's gonna happen? I mean,
like for example, like status, right? Like
yes,
anytime,
yes,
like if
yes.
in case like if you make any mistake, right? It's always like always you can come in and make an update, right? Like you can come here, like the status, whatever, like under the status, we can delete it, right? We can delete it and then do it again. Or also like, just to make an update, you can click on the link, right? It will automatically open it for you, whatever. All right, interesting. Like this is okay. So whatever we make an update, right? So you make an mistake in one to many or something, so you can change it right from here, right? You can easily make that and change that. So but sometimes, mm, like if you make like one to many, like for example, like even when you do the relationship, it will give you some idea, kind of like error, like it like make it like one to many, and then you select like status ID field and then vendor status ID. So kind of like it will give you like the
Yeah,
relationship
yeah, yeah.
type, right? To
Okay,
have like
okay,
unique relationship, right? All right. So yeah, anytime
okay.
like
Thank you.
you have yeah, no problem. If you have any issue or something, like like one thing I wanna tell you, okay? Uh, you know, when you create like when you actually practicing, like when you are actually creating anything like any application on Appian, you know, feel free to do anything, right? So just you are not actually messing up anything, okay? Just create stuff, make some messy code, like just make some updates, just delete something or something like, uh, as long as like your application, right? So nothing you're gonna break nothing, okay? So that's how you are actually learning, right? It's your learning practice environment. Just do stuff like if you feel okay, this is not working or something, just delete it and then do it again, right? So you are not breaking anything by deleting anything. If you delete any, if you messed up anything, we're gonna fix it, okay? So uh, that's why like we're gonna be a developer, right? If you make any mistake, like you will give you like some error message, you're gonna so if you're gonna figure out like how to fix it. If you don't know how to fix it, just reach out to me and then I can fix that for you. All right. So this this the like record type we have right now. So vendor applicant is actually now it's complete, right? So here, so record type is nothing. So we're actually creating a record types. This brings like all data together, right? All data together on a single topic. So on that applicant, like vendor applicant record type, I bring all the data, like the status, the category, vendor applicant, all together with that relationship, right? So records provides, and now I'm gonna see record is gonna provide a centralized view of like a given business function, along with all its connected to related records, right? We're gonna give, we're gonna create some kind of like view. So like when you're actually going to the user object, uh, actually I'm gonna create like a few things and then we're gonna discuss more about interface, what interface in report or site. on this object that we're going to show you how it's actually like bringing all the information like related data on a specific like record centralized views. All right, so now like we're gonna introduce you like some concept here, right? So attaching a process model to record view, right? So I'm gonna attaching a process model to record view as a related action allows users to immediately take an action on the information shown in the record view, right? So now I want to show you something here. So now it's actually our record type, vendor applicant record types right here. If you want to see the record type like from the tempo, whatever the information we have, right? If you have a data anything, right? So you can see the data preview on the data preview section here, right? Sorry. Right, so data preview, going. So on the data preview, you'll see like, kind of like you're not seeing everything, any data, all of the information on the backend, but you will see like if there is any data on that table, right? If there is any data on the table, you can see it from here, right? Also, like, Appian on the current version, right? Maybe like 2 version back, we can add the vendor applicant information. Like for example, we can add that row, right? We can add like 1 row on the table, right? For example, I'm gonna add actually Best Buy, okay? Just for right, I'm gonna add like Best Buy, right? My first vendor applicant, phone number, anything, right? Right, email, I'm gonna add when is actually applied, this dates, the category. We don't have any category right now, right? Because there is not on the table, right? Address, test address. Okay. Test address 2. City here. States can do zip code, right? So make it like is active, created by automatically takes my user. Like I don't have like any data like on the status field on the status table or something. So that's why like I'm seeing like nothing, right? But once we populate the yes.
Sorry.
No, it is. Oh, you don't have a question. Okay. All right. So now like I'm gonna create like add 1 row just to show you like as a preview, right? So we're not actually always like doing this, like add rows, like update rows, like from the record type. So we're gonna create an action to add, right? So that's why I actually say right here, right? We're gonna attach a process model, right, to a record views, like on the record views, to act on a record. So as an related action, right? So we're gonna act on the record with by orchestrating our process models on the view. So it will act as like a related action. So a related action from the name. So it's action related to that specific record. Allows users to immediately take action on the information shown in the record and make an update. Right. Right. So now, like you see here. This is I added like this record type, so this record on this guy. But if you see here on applicant, my applicant table, it's not there, right? Right, vendor. So it's still like it's nothing right here, right? Because because I did it like only on the Appian record type. So when I did this guy, like it's only resides on Appian server, right? For now. But if I want to make a change, if I want to write to the database, I will click on the write change on the tab, right? It will help me. Do you want me to download the script? How to like? So this is actually will help you like actually it's actually very important thing, right? So you click on the right change, click right, and then it's download it. So you will know like, okay, on the back end what kind of statements is actually executed, right? So this is actually an insert statement, insert scroll script. When you write this guy, it's going. Go, 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 go. Right. I'm gonna like refresh this guy, like in case if it's coming, refresh this page. Yeah, it's like it's already right that page. Whatever I did it from the Appian record type, I got that information right here, right? So on the database. So you can do it like from here, like this is actually only for the developers, right? So developers will have access for the data preview. We can make it like, sometimes we don't have access to the database, right? So database team may, restrict us like from deleting, from updating, or from entering like any records, right? But like from the Appian, we can do it from this side, right? So if you want to make like any update or any change or something, you can open still like edit row, and then you can make an update, and then write the change on backend. So this is only for the data preview, but also like I want to show here, right? I want to show you here is there is a list. Come on. When you click on the list, will automatically give you like URL like that. It will take you to directly on the record page of of the tempo, right? So like when we discussed last time about like interface, like like user on the architecture. So we as a user actually able to access Appian, like, access from different interfaces like process designers embedded or something, right? Works from the designer. We can also like access from the site and tempo, right? So so this is where like the record types actually yeah, like the record type like on the tempo looks like, right? So this is a tempo on this record, right? So all the records actually will be on the this record field. So if you see here, like I want to refresh this guy, so I will have like the whatever the record I added. So this record link you'll get it from actually from this guy, right? So like there is a record URL list, so you can click here and then it will automatically direct you to the tempo page. On this tempo page you'll see all the records from here, so you can select things, whatever, like the record, right? So now like I want to actually create like from this like record field or something. I want to create or like I want to, like, for example, like here I want to update I want to update like this guy, right? So like this looks like Best Buy. I mistyped it, right? So like I kind of like mistyped this guy, right? On Best Buy. So in Appian, like it's automatically gives me like on the data preview I kind of did. This is only for the developers, right? So developers can do it from the backend, right? But like for the end user, we're gonna need to give them a related action. So related action is nothing, just an action to act on that related records, right? So whatever they review. So now like you see, there is no summary page right here. So the users click on that. So on this one, so I will gonna add like some views, right? So for some views, like I will gonna add like some user object to display the information, whatever the Best Buy information we have, right? Right. Right. Go back. So so when you have like this record type, so now like we just added actually one, but like we need to give action for the user to add a new vendor applicant. Also, like once actually a new applicant's added, So we're gonna give them like an action to update that specific record, right? So now here I'm gonna go and then discuss more about what is an action, right? What is an action in Appian, right? So here I'm gonna go here and then see there is a process object, right? So this process object in Appian is kind of like a blue, like in icon. So process models and process reports can be considered like process centric, and process models are like defined like how a process will function, while process reports allows users access data from the process report from the process running processes. So I'm gonna cover like just a few things like about the process model, and I'm gonna cover like process report, and we're gonna discuss like kind of like a discussion on this like process report and robotics on the coming class. But now like let's focus on this process model, right? So process objects actually the process model is the primary tool in Appian for describing workflow. Like we can describe, like for example, like this company has some kind of like a workflow on the back end, right? So when you send a document, there's the applicant when you apply something, it will send to the supervisor review it, and then send to his manager, from his manager, something like that, right? We can orchestrate things, right? So the workflow, how the business flows, right? This process model is a primary tool we're using for describing a workflow. So developers, that's us, right? So graphically lay out the workflow. We're gonna configure it in a graphic way, and we can assign user tasks, like assign user like for managers, for supervisors. We can manipulate data, right? So we can actually call the data from the database, make some an update, pass the data to a different nodes or smart surface, right? Post system events, like just if you want to like send email, if you want to send some kind of post emails on the newsfeed or something, we can do that like on that specific workflow layouts, right? Or we can update like other design objects. We can update database, like once we make an update, like once we make some data tweak, we can also like make that change to our database side, right? Process models are frequently used in a record type, right? So like mostly, like most of the time, actually process models are frequently used within the record type to provide user with the tool to act on the information shown by the record, right? So process models is frequently, most of the time, like actually we're using it like inside the record type. So users review their records, right? And then they think like, okay, that record is actually needs to be updated. So we're gonna uh, orchestrate a process model inside that record type, so they can initiate a process to update that specific record, so they can update it. So the users think of like they see like only few vendors. Oh, they think, okay, one vendor is missing, right? So we need to give them an action to add a new vendor. So that's why we're gonna do it, right? So process model is actually playing that role for just orchestrating the work, the layout. It's kind of like a graphic layout. I'm gonna show you like once I generate stuff. So how actually we are creating the process model, right? We can do it like manually, right? But Appian makes things like very, very, very easy, right? Uh, Now we're gonna create that like for vendor applicants. Now I wanna create, right? I wanna create an action to create a new table. To create like a new vendor, or also like to update a new vendor and then to delete a vendor, right? Once I add it, I wanna delete it, right? So now if I go to action, right? So there is like in the record type, you see like there is like four section, right? So data section is mainly like you will gonna tell like what kind of data model you have, data previews, events, like it's kind of like we're gonna configure the events as well. I'm gonna show you like how to configure the events. Events nothing, you will help us to audit things, right? So who update the table, who update the record or something, kind of like on the back end we can capture the events there as well. And sync option is nothing, just to kind of give us an information to sync the record, right? So we can click on the sync. So whatever the change we made on the database side, we're going to sync it to our record type. Uh, User experience it's actually kind of like where the user is interacting with this record type. So this is the list is actually the record, like where they actually on the record tempo. So that's actually I showed you here. So they will see it from here like tempo right there on that this it's on the user experience section. Filters, right? So if you want to add like some kind of filter like this, right? So like filter by status, filter by category, or you can search it or something like that, right? You can add like those user filters on this guy, right? You can add like multiple user filters right there. This is actually going right there, right? Yeah, user filters, like category and status is already added. Uh, but you can also add like new user filters on that page, right? So this is nothing, but it's actually this is the filters where we are actually adding that. The views. So we don't have a view right now, but I will generate a view like after like first like let me create like the action. But the views is actually where you are actually kind of like seeing, for example, like I want to see, right? So I want to view like, okay, this is a Best Buy, this is like staples or something like. So we have like multiple records on this page, right? So I want to see like more detail about it, right? So who is applicant, who has what kind of I mean, like I need the applicant contact, like the contact for this Best Buy, so I can click in this side and then learn more about that record, right? So about Best Buy, or who's actually the CEO, who's actually HR, who's or something, the contact, like what kind of status it has or something, any information, like whatever, like we're not seeing here on the tab, we can get more information about record, like when I click on that specific link, that specific record, so it will take me to the summary page of that Best Buy, right? So on the Best Buy, so here we're gonna actually display the views, like, so that's I'm gonna come and show you like next, okay? But like now I want to act on it, right? So that with this where actually we want to add like an action. Actions are actually users will gonna help action section will gonna help for the developers to create an action for the end user for creating, updating, deleting any kind of like action, right? So you can configure it manually, you can create automatically, right? Manually, you can create manually, but also like in Appian, you don't need to do anything, right? So it will help you, in a matter of like 2 minutes, you can create everything, right? So you can create update and everything like that, right? But you can create like manually. So if it's creating manually, it will take you some time, right? So you have to create the post model manually. You have to create the interface, everything, the workflow, layout, and everything, right? But for now, like it's a simple thing for us. We want actually a create applicant, update applicant, and delete applicant, right? For that, like there is a section here in the action. We can generate a record action, so it's automatically Appian will help us to generate 3 actions like a create, update, and then a delete. All right. So if you want to like only create, you can uncheck this guy and then to generate. Or if you want to do only like create an update, you can do that. Just uncheck the delete and then do that way, right? But let's generate everything. So like for create, update, delete. So I'm gonna click on a generate. Right, so without my Appian on the back end, it's actually doing all the process models, right? So if you see here, we have only like few objects, right? We created only like in our application. I just created only the record types, right? I just created only the record types. But now, like once it's actually generated, this generation is actually complete. I will see on my designer on my application a few objects as well, right? So because Appian automatically generated for me, an interface and a process model or something just to make up that an update, like for vendor applicant update. Okay, let me see and then go back here. It's kind of like it's taking like some time. It's kind of like sluggish. Okay, yeah, it's automatically generated for me. So this is the page, right? So one is actually created like for new vendor applicant, right? So created like a new vendor applicant right here. There is a delete reduction, right? So there is two things you see here, right? So One is a record list action, and that is a related action, right? What is the difference between the two, right? So record list action is it will help us to add on the list, right? So like you have like Best Buy, Staples, like Value Furniture and everything. If you want to add a list on the top, your action was going to be like on the record list action. So you can add like multiple record list action. So just to help you out, if you want to add like more. But if you want to update, for example, I have like I created like a Best Buy. I want to update the Best Buy, so that's going to be on the related action side. So that's from the name. It's actually related to the record, related to like whatever you see on the record. Like if you see a Best Buy, these actions are actually related to the Best Buy record. If you go to inside the Staples and then you initiate this process, it will actually update it like that specific related record. So right now, like I just created Appian generated for me like three records, three actions, like three actions. One is for new vendor application, new action, new vendor applicant, delete applicant, and update applicant. All right. Okay, so also like go back to show you like here. From here, so like now if I filter, so you refresh, I should see. All right. So where did this save it, right? Okay, so it looks like it's actually saved somewhere. All right, W219. All right, so I'm gonna try to find that studio, but it should create it on this inside this application. But where did you put it? Just created inside here. No, that's not. Yeah, so it's actually created inside here. It shouldn't be. Yeah, something is wrong with Appian, so it shouldn't be though, because that's vendor application. Oh, right, it's actually my record types here. Okay. All right. So anyhow, so I created this vendor applicant, right? So vendor applicant. So I have like now this action. So if I go back here, right? Go one vendor applicant, right? So now if I see here, right? So if now like what you noticed, right? Like if you notice here, so there is new action. So this new action is actually is for when you click here, it will actually automatically open for you. You can add like the name, email, phone, whatever I added like before, right? So like it can't, but this is for the integer. So you created this interface. No, we're not actually creating this interface, but Appian created for us, right? If there is an Appian, any contact, right, or something, we can add also like a contact on from this page. But this is actually we don't need it because we're gonna make like some update, right? But while you are creating, the while you are creating the vendor applicant, you can also add the contact. So by doing that, so you can also just do that. But so now like let's add like any maybe staples. It's fine. Just to show you like if it's working. All right. And okay, I want to add like new contact as well, right? So like for example, test HR test. There's nothing. Sales. something like this. All right. So once I create this, I will see now like a new contact, a new vendor applicant on the list. So this action actually will help me just to add, right? So this action will help me to add a new record list. So it's actually adding lists, adding like items on the list, right? So, but if you want to make an update, if if you have a requirement to make an update on that specific record, whatever you see on that specific record page, so you have to configure related action. So related action, from the name you can tell like it's action related to something, like related to the record. So here, right, so now I just added these tables. So this is because of the record list action. So on that record list action you added, and then you can add like multiple records from here. So these users users will have like this access. But now this is actually a tempo, right? This is going to be a tempo. We're going to create a site for them, right? So we're going to create a, some kind of like combined site for the end user, so they can go to the site, because they will not have like access to tempo, right? So as I mentioned, like tempo is kind of like an old view of like Appian. So we're not, we're still using it just for some purpose, but we're actually using it for we're going to create like a site, kind of like focused area for the users to work on. All right, so like if I click inside now, test staples, so I will see here, but we are not actually having like we are not having any information there, right? So it's because we're not configuring any views, right? So we are not actually configuring any views on the record type. So these views, right? I just skip this, right? So I need to make a jar update like on that views. So that's when I configure the view, I will get I will see all the details on the summary page. I can add like contacts tab, like different tabs, like contacts, category tab, and everything tab, right? So kind of like I can see multiple things like related to that specific record. So here, so you can on the record types, you can provide a centralized view of a given business function along with all of its connection to related records, right? So you can display the summary. You can also like show them like the contacts related to that specific vendor. You can, if you have like any task related to that vendor, you can display that task in that specific record, right? So kind of like you can create and provide a centralized view for that specific record. All right, so no, but like we don't have a view, but if you have a view, so we're gonna see it like like staples and everything, whatever the information. So, but like once I go inside, so there is a related action field. So we configure the related action, like delete related action and update related action on this guy, right? So there is a related action on this guy. If I click on the related action, I should see them like those two configured right there, right? So like delete and update. So if I want to update, like for example, like from staples to values furniture, so I need to click on that, click on the update. It will automatically open for me whatever information I put, right? And we can make an update and then click save it back, right? So staples, right? And click save, or like if I want to add, like remove one of the contact and make make it like this is exactly field or something, and then click on save, right? But also there is also an action for us like to make an delete, right? So okay, so we need to delete this guy, right? So we don't need to keep the staples on our record, right? So that is actually scammer or something, right? So that we have actually action to do that as well. So we can delete to we can hard delete from the system, so we'll not see them like on the front end. So for this guy, like now it's updated, right? So if you go back to the record type, so you'll see the detail. But if you can, click on the delete, so it will give you like kind of like a warning message saying submitting this form will delete your record, so the data will no longer exist, right? So if you are agreed to delete this guy, so you can click on delete. So it's automatically deleted the record from your record right? So if I go back, so once the process run on the back end, this process will, this staples will actually not be there. Yeah, it's actually removed, right? So what I did, right? What I did on that, like configuring the process model, right? So process model is nothing. It's kind of like graphical, layout. So like for us, so we create like three process models. So that means we graphically lay out like three workflows. One is for creating a vendor applicant, one is deleting a vendor applicant, and one is for updating a vendor applicant, right? I use like one process model for creating an update, by just making some kind of dynamic. So here on this process model, I want to show you like what the process model looks like. Okay. So on this process model, we are actually creating a new vendor applicant. So when we create, so when we initiate this process, when we initiate a new process, right? So this form is actually populated, right? So on this form, right, this is actually what's actually going on the back end, right? So when we initiate a process, so there's an interface inside this node. So there is a start node and an end node. So it starts from here, and then once it's actually submitted and complete, it will end right here. So this is the workflow we have. If we want to add like more workflows, more actions, more activities, we can add them like right here as well. Right? So we can configure, we can add multiple things, right? So there is a lot of things here, so we can drag and drop and then configure it, right? But for this is kind of like a simple process model, a simple layout, just to create, delete, something like that, right? So this is there is an embedded interface right here. So just to see that actually embedded interface, the process start form. So there is this process start form, like I'm going to show you that interface as well. So we embedded this interface on that, so whatever like you see here, right? So this is the interface. We're gonna create this interface as well, so I think it should be more expensive on creating the interface in the coming session. So this is the interface we have. So we're gonna make an update on this guy. So definitely we'll have it to work on this one as well. So this guy is actually embedded inside, like we make that a process start form. It's like when we start the process, start with this form, right? So process start form is like when we start the process, start with form, and then we added that interface right here inside there, right? So that's why like you see like the blue icon right there, right inside. So there is, if you see that blue icon, that means like there is an interface, this interface, right, embedded in this specific process model. And once they actually click on submit, right, so when it actually click on create, right, it will actually exit from this node, come to this page, right, come to this page and come to like there is a logic if the user actually click a cancel or a create, right? If it's cancel, then actually go to this pass and then end it, right? But if it is like create, then it will come here, delete record and the write record again, right? So I'm gonna show you like how it actually runs on the backend, right? So click on the start process for debugging, right? I'm gonna debug it like and then to show you. Right, so I'm gonna like when it's debugging, like it starts like I actually initiate like on the back end, so it's automatically opens for me. All right, pop-ups block. All right, so I'm gonna again do it again, start for debugging. Right, so it's automatically open that form for us. Right, now like for just for demo purpose, right? So I'm gonna cancel it, like I'm not actually adding anything, right? So I want to like to show you like how it's actually okay. This is actually form automatically opened, right? So when I initiate that process, it will gonna open. I'm gonna cancel this guy, right? When I cancel this, right? So I would expect like the path will go from here and then end it this way, right? Right, right there, right? So it comes here because I canceled it. Okay, this is because we configure it, right? So if it's canceled, the user don't want to do anything, like so they cancel that from the page, right? Do things. So, but if we add like some kind of information and then click when you click create, we're gonna write that whatever the information they put, we're gonna write to the database, right? So we're gonna delete, and if we wanna delete, so we're gonna delete first, and then we're gonna write the record, right? So this is a simple workflow, but like we can build a different, like the complex workflow on a pros model, right? So pros model is nothing. So pros model, pros model is the primary tool in Appian for describing a workflow. Developers will, just graphically lay out all different like nodes, like different smart service to to orchestrate the workflow. There's a lot of things that we can be like assigning user tasks, manipulating the data, like extracting data from the database, making an update, transforming the information, transforming the data, and sending email to the some collaboration team, post system events or update any design object, right? So any constant update or any kind of integration update, right? So mostly pros models are actually frequently, it's not always, right? It's not always, but like mostly pros models are actually frequently used with record types, like for creating, updating a specific record, but also like we can, without like orchestrating inside the record type, you can create a pros model, schedule it, like you can schedule like an automatic process. We can schedule a process to run nightly, right? So when everybody is everybody is actually sleep, if you want to do like some kind of bulk process run right on the back end, we can schedule that process when like in the midnight it will start by itself, do some cleanup, make an update or something, and then it will complete by itself, right? It's not always on related to the record, but like we can also create a process model to perform some kind of tasks. uh, so we're gonna cover like process report and robotics, like I'm gonna discuss more about this guy. It's fine, but now like I'm gonna jump to uh, uh, the user object, right? Gonna just like, because we have only like 10 minutes. Uh, do you have any question though? Like any question? All right. Okay. If you guys don't have any question, user objects. We call them like interface reports sites are actually categorized like user objects, which are like objects that are primarily involved with like interacting with the users, right? So kind of like it's a kind of like kind of like a display for displaying record information, displaying fall into different categories, right? So right now, like I'm gonna show you like how to create like some interface on the record views. uh, we're not actually going out from this screen, so still we are actually working on the record types, and just we create like a pros model, but on that pros model, on that specific record type, right? So we need to actually create a view, right? So kind of like we need to generate some objects like user objects for displaying the record, right? So for now, like when I click on the Best Buy, I see nothing there, right? So all the information on the summary page is actually nothing, but I want to see, okay, when the user click on that, so let me create one view, like or like user display object for just summarizing the record from the vendor applicant. So here, like on the view, like if you want to summarize, if you want to add like multiple views, like one is for summarizing of the vendor applicant, one page for contacts, one page for anything, right? You can click, click on the summary. You can and generate a record view, or you can also like create interface by yourself, and then you can configure it manually, right? So you can configure manually from here, like just pass the interface, and do OK, right? There also like we can easily like just like the only drawback by generating Appian, using Appian record type is actually if you see here, like it's not clean, it's not neat, right? So like it's actually picking, so it needs like a lot of cleanup. So that's the only thing, but we're gonna do that as well actually. So now I'm gonna generate like one record view. Uh, for this guy, like I'm gonna generate like one for vendor applicants. We can copy like select record types, right? So this vendor applicant actually has relationship between like created user, modified users, like vendor applicant contact, category, and vendor status, right? So actually wanna create like two views. One is for vendor applicant and one is for vendor applicant contacts, right? So that will give me like kind of like screen, right? So I'm gonna click on next and click on this guy. I'm gonna create it on this application. Click next. All right, so automatically it will create it for me. Like the interface used for this record type is gonna be like vendor applicant summary page. This is actually stored on this specific rules and constant folder, right? So now I'm gonna generate this view. Right, so it's actually kind of like sluggish, kind of so slow. Right, so once actually it's actually complete, you will see the record, right? So like now, so you see like summary page is actually it's nothing, but like once actually generated on that specific record view, so we're gonna summarize whatever the record we have, whatever the information on that record, and yeah, it's actually the record view is actually unsupported objects are created successfully. I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna show you like what kind of objects we created. So we created like a summary view. For that summary view, we created like one interface object for we passing the record information, and that once you pass that record information, we just display it there. So from the when the user click from the record direct from the record link, so they will land to the summary page. So if you see here on this view, so there is one view actually generated right there, summary. So we can create like multiple. We can generate record views from here, multiple summary page, kind of like customizing. Or also like we can add like views like manually. If you have any new interface, we can add from here as well, right there. So now for now, like we create like a summary page. This one summary page actually, this guy is a summary page, right? So like there is we created, Appian created for us like in a matter of seconds, right? This vendor applicant summary page, right? So this summary page, I'm going to show you that. But like here, if I click on the summary page now, if I click on this specific record based by, so now I will see the summary page or the summary view for all the information, like the contact uh, and sorry, come on. Yeah, things are actually very slow. Don't know like why. Let me refresh the page again. Yeah, let me save it like kind of like slow. It's not reflecting, but uh, once we have like vendor applicant view, you will see like on a page for all the details like specify name, like the name of the vendor, the information like about like contact, its phone number, its address, and everything like that. So you'll be on this page. So let's give a second so to summarize. All right. So do you have any questions? So we're gonna like once that's fully complete, I'm gonna show you that. But if you have any question related to today's class, like just please, like we have only like 3 minutes more, like I think yeah, 7 like 3 minutes. So if you have any question, just let me know. All right, so click on vendor applicants. Our summary page is actually for some reason it's hiding somewhere. So come on. Yeah. So like our like summary page is right here, like generated. It gives us like the vendor applicant information, all the information, name, file, email, address line, like is active or any information on this page, right? Plus, if there is any contact related to the vendor, so you will see it on this page. So we're gonna make like a lot of update on this interface, even like when we create a new applicant as well. We're gonna make a lot of cleanup because Appian kind of like just give us the default. So we need to make any update. We're gonna make like a lot of change on this interface. While actually we're making that change, you're gonna learn a lot about like interfaces, like how to create interface, how to update interface, and everything like that. But today it's all about like this. So to summarize, we cover about like more about record types. How we are actually configuring record types. We created record types for vendor applicant, vendor category, vendor applicant contact, vendor status. We make that relationship, right? So relationship between the vendor applicant to category to contact and status. Also, we attach a process to make an update on the related actions, right? On the related records. And also we generated a view. So to summarize, like for record view to central to to give like centralized view for that specific record, and for records related to that specific record. Also action to add a list, to add on a list, so we configure that on the record list action. Also action for updating a specific that related record. We configure that on that related action section. If you have any question, please feel free to forward it. If not, so we will gonna stop our class here. Any question?
No.
All right, sounds good. So we're gonna put the recordings on the folder. Yeah, go through the recordings. Do whatever we did, like just try to replicate it. Create a record type like for all. So next class when it comes, so we're gonna jump on creating like just modifying some things. Right, we're gonna actually take like 30 minutes or something just to discuss more about the design object, like the process object, like what is the process model, process report, and process robotic processes. And we're going to discuss more about interface, report, and site. So once we discuss more about site and everything, so we're going to create a site for the user. It's kind of like just giving them like focused area, so they can add vendor applicant, they can update anything from the site, not from the record action, from the record type. Yeah. So yeah, I will see you Thursday then, 6 p.m.